Now I am falling to a dark place. We're just remembering her death's about all I can take. But I don't get out much. It's being swallowed by a room. Supposed to feel this way. Maybe I'll
I just
come
want to talk
out.
to you a little bit about what you listen to. What have you been
Mhm.
listening? Because obviously we spoke about like you like Lana and Black Sabbath and Bonnie Prince Billy. So what have you been listening to recently?
Yeah. I've been driving a lot and I do a funny thing when I drive where I also just sometimes don't listen to music for hours and drive in silence. And I think just because I've been so sometimes I'm around music so much that I actually need a break from it,
Yeah.
just like with live music and stuff too. So I've actually been listening to a lot of the podcast The Life of the Record, if you've heard that podcast.
Ah, I don't think I know that.
It's a podcast where they interview people that most times the bands, but sometimes like the actual main person isn't involved because for whatever reason, but just like iconic albums and how they came to exist. So there is one on I See a Darkness by Bonnie Prince Billy. There's one for like Richard and Linda Thompson,
Oh yeah.
the Bright Lights album. I've been listening to that album a lot. Um, and then yeah, there's one of those. There's like Built to Spill. It's like an eclectic mix, but it's like really I love hearing like other artists' processes, and it's also very um it's like comforting to hear like these bands that have had such great success have very similar like insecurities and doubts and also just like processes as you um and just like being inspired by them as well. Um so I listen to that a lot. Like one of my favorite driving albums is this album by Tanari Wen, if you've heard of that band.
What's the name?
Tanari Wen, Tinarwen.
Oh, I don't know that one. I always love it when people give me names I don't know.
Yeah, they are really cool. Let me see if I can find the name of the album. Um, it's called MR, EMMAAR. But that's like one of my favorite um driving albums. Yeah, I definitely like my fair share of like pop. So like Lana Del Rey is really fun to listen to in the car.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I saw one of her first ever shows when she first came out in a
whoa,
place that held like 300 people maybe. And
wow, that's amazing.
I think she played like 6 or 7 songs because that's all she had.
Oh, that's so cool. I actually am very jealous of that.
And then we went around the back of the venue to our car and she was just standing in the street. So we got to just
Wow,
hang out with her for a second. It was cool. And
that's amazing.
now she has a lot of songs.
Seriously, yeah.
Is there is there one record that reminds you of your childhood every time you hear it?
That's a good question. Oh, I think one of the albums, let me see if I can find the name of it. I like was obsessed with Iris Dement when I was a kid. And I think my mom played Iris Dement for me a ton. That album, Infamous Angel,
Okay.
which I think I came back to recently, like in the past year, and it was like Iris Dement's voice is like so ingrained into like I actually like think I forgot who she was for a long time. When I heard her voice, I was like, why is this so familiar? It's like such an iconic voice, and I was pretty obsessed with her when I was like a little kid.
Yeah, is it one of those records where even if you haven't heard it for years, you know every word?
Yeah, I think recently the one that surprised me, which I don't know if anyone can know all the words to this album, but um Joanna Newsom's Inflammatory or Milk Eyed Mender.
Beautiful record.
That album I like have listened to like more times than I could count, and I can take like so much space between that album and then like put it on and like know like 80% of the words, which that is like an insanely wordy album. So it's like that album is like very I like am obsessed with that. I've been listening to that since I was a kid.
And I